Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celese. And we are on episode 7 of season 2. I gotta make sure I say that on season 2 of our podcast. We're so happy that everyone is joining us. On this week's episode, we are going to do a wine review. Jenny has a nice mixed drink that her lovely husband made her. So she'll be trying that. And then we are going to take like a fantasy book quiz kind of thing. Yeah. And it's supposed to give us like a book recommendation at the end. So that's pretty cool. So we'll be doing that.
Hopefully it works.
Yeah, hopefully it works, right? And then after that, we're going to do a review of a fantasy romance by Kaven Hirning, right?
I would say Kaven Hirning. I don't know for sure. It could be Kaven. Who knows?
Called A Forbidden Fate. And she's actually really big on TikTok. I follow her. I love her videos. She's super funny.
She's really funny.
Yeah. So when she was talking about, becoming an author and, self-publishing and doing this on her own, when she dropped her book, I was just like, okay, I have to give it a read just because I follow her and I think she's super funny. So I wanted to give her, a chance and read her story and help out a fellow like indie kind of person. So, that is the agenda for this week's episode. So again, grab a drink, get comfortable, hear us go crazy. Or mostly me messing up here and there, but it's always a fun time. So let's get started. Do you want to talk about your mixed drink?
Yes. So mine is maple whiskey sour, and Mike made it. I have no idea what's in it other than
it sounds delicious.
Whiskey. And this is
I'm not a whiskey fan, but that sounds
I
really
like whiskey. Good. But look at how fancy he is. I know, right?
A mess. What does your cup say?
Fuck off, I'm reading.
Nice.
Yes, perfect. This is really good. It's a little strong. I could taste the whiskey, but it's really good. It's delicious.
Awesome. So I have Prosecco. I asked Adrian, I was like, so how would you pronounce it? Because you know me. He was like, La Marca? I don't know. So
yeah, La Marca. That's what I would say.
So it's a sparkling wine. I feel like Prosecco, you usually like mix it with something. So I'm just going to try it a little bit. I feel like, isn't that something you put like in a mimosa or something?
I guess it could be. Is it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I hope it's good. I've never had it by itself.
It's fine. Like a sparkling white wine. White wine. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Awesome.
Not bad at all.
All right.
It doesn't have like a nasty kick to it or anything.
Yeah.
That it's sparkling, obviously, so it's like bubbly and nice. Yeah, I could mess with that for today.
Awesome. Good.
All right. So let's go into this fantasy book rec kind of thing. We're actually gonna put the link in our bio, in our comments. So if you want to give it a go, you can. It's basically you create a fantasy world and get a romantic fantasy series recommendation. And this is from Book Riot. So you just click on it and it says, let's go.
I really hope it works.
Yeah. So the first question is, or thing you have to pick is a danger level. So are you a high stakes and full of danger kind of person, or some danger here and there, but mostly stable?
High stakes.
I'm a scaredy cat.
Yeah, you are.
I'm okay with some danger, but I don't need to be stressed out. I don't do well with stress.
Good already. So we're opposites.
Yeah, already. Pick a pet was my next one. Is it your next one?
Yeah, it's the same.
All right. So the options are a cat, a horse, a crow, a dragon, a unicorn, or a demon.
Dragon for me. It's between the dragon and the horse for me, but I think dragon. The horse. Yeah, dragon called to me.
Between the horse and the crow for me.
Okay.
I know I'm weird. Pick your home: a cottage, cabin in the woods, a farm, a castle, a townhouse. A farm. Even though I would never do the labor of a farm.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Like, I'm not looking up. I'm not feeding the animals, but I like the look of a farm.
I don't know if I want a castle or a cabin in the woods. I think I'm gonna go with cabin in the woods. Yeah.
Spooky things always happen in a cabin in the
I
woods.
know, you're right. I know.
Pick a landscape. Why didn't mine blacked out? Hold on.
Can you just go back? You see how it has those arrows?
Okay.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna name the landscapes that are on there. So we have a meandering old world city, a forest, a countryside, a small town, a bustling city, or a desert.
I had to redo it.
Okay.
All
right.
Pick a landscape. Forest.
Yeah, I think that's my go-to. Yep, forest.
A magical power. Ooh,
Interesting.
Control of nature, curses, love is magic, spell casting, necromancy, and shapeshifter. Ooh, these are all really good ones.
They are. I'm down to 2.
Love. Oh, wait. Did I say love is magic?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like spell casting, couldn't you do all of that?
I would think so.
I'm doing spell casting.
Mine was between healing and spell casting. I think I'm going to do spell casting too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is easy. Pick a pastime: reading. I'm not even going to read the rest. But the rest were bicycle. Oh, forget it. It just skipped on.
Yeah, mine just went. There was dancing and
like
riding a
bicycling
bike.
And some other stuff.
No, thank you.
Choose a quest: solve a murder, conquer past demons, right society's wrongs, find love, save a friend, save the world. That's too much. I would rather just save a friend.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'll save a friend. Saving the world, that's too much.
That is too
much. You usually risk so much to do it and lose so much just to save the world.
I think I'm going to go with right society's wrong.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Pick a villain: society's injustices, a mythic creature, an evil magic user, an evil king, a relative, a god. I don't want to go against a god. Or a relative, for that matter. Maybe a mythic
creature. I'm down to 2. Oh, a mythic creature? Mine was either going to be evil magic user or evil king. I'm going to go with evil king.
I'm going to go with a creature because I don't feel as bad for killing it.
Okay.
Pick a hero: a quiet stranger with a secret, a daring, independent woman, problematic, an attractive warrior, a magic user with a higher purpose.
Attractive warrior.
Independent woman. Oh, is it my hero?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it's the independent woman.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine if you like that. Attractive warrior.
That was super quick.
Oh, that was it.
Wait.
Oh.
How
do you not like your answer?
No, like it went away.
Oh, your answer?
Yeah.
Oh, so did mine. I mean, I saw what it was, but well, that sucked.
Well, we'll have to do that again.
Well, mine was The Awakening by The Awakening by Nora Roberts. I've never read anything by Nora Roberts.
I love Nora Roberts. She's like my back in the day romance. She did this book series on these they're not biological brothers, they're foster brothers. There was this man and this woman who brought in like like, foster kids. They were like the bad kids or whatever. Something's always happened to them. And each book is them finding their love kind of thing. Super cute.
Okay.
It's actually really sad. They lose their parents and stuff. So, and each of their story is sad, like the trauma that they go through. And I believe book 1 is that their father just passed and they're trying to grieve him. And at the same time, he had brought in this younger foster kid. Like, his 4 sons are grown now. And he had like this 5th son. And, someone's claiming that that's his biological son. And they're like, there's no way he would cheat on our mom. Like, there's no way. So it's like their story and stuff. It's really good. I got to look it up. But yeah, I like Nora Roberts. That's a good one.
I've never read anything from
I
her.
couldn't even see it. So
you'll have to do it again.
Do it again, and I'll put in the comments what my book was. But that was cool. I wish it would have stayed. So if you do,
it went to like the next set of questions for something else. That was
mine was like for what Black Panther character are you? So if you're gonna do it, make sure you like screenshot it really fast, because I didn't expect it to go. And then it was saying you could share it, and right when I was gonna hit share, so like I could keep it went away.
Bummer.
All right, well, I'll redo it and make sure I put in the comments what mine was. I'll just do the same questions and answers, so hopefully it'll be the same thing. Imagine it isn't.
I think it will be. Yeah, it'll be the same. I'll have to look into that Awakening or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I actually heard about that. I feel like she's doing it with someone else. Could it be James Patterson or someone?
He does freaking books with everybody.
Yeah. Maybe. I feel like that's familiar. I feel like I've seen it. Like it's like a bird and like a thing.
I don't know. It was a yellow, like a gold cover. It was a circle, but I don't know what it was because it went blurry.
I think it's a bird, if I'm mistaken, because I've seen it from time to time. Interesting. Anyway, let's get back to it. So we're gonna do a fantasy romance book review. Like we said, it's a big TikTok star. She does the voice of Cassian, which I freaking love, and it's hilarious when she does it. Her and her husband are really funny. I would love to like be a fly on their wall sometimes, because I'm pretty sure she's like that all the time.
All the time.
Like a character, she's really funny. So I know her from TikTok. I'm pretty sure you know her from TikTok. And so again, we were, excited to hear about her book, and it's called Forbidden Fate. So basically, it's about 2 characters. It's a dual point of view. Adalia and Brazen. That's how I pronounce it.
That's what I would say. Yeah. Okay. Good job.
Yeah. All right. So Adalia and Brazen, they were once betrothed to one another. Despite both of their kingdoms already feuding, like their kingdoms already don't like each other. So their families are thinking bringing them together, will bring a stronger front and, will be better for both of them, sharing resources, all that jazz. But then an incident happens during their betrothal celebration, like a huge tragedy, and it brings down basically like the gods, and the gods curse them and basically say, because their respective parents used the god's name in vain, I guess. And so she showed up and she was like, you're not going to use my name like that. And as punishment, now both your heirs can't touch each other, meaning that, those kingdoms can never be united, because they were supposed to get married and, join each other, and now they can't. So, it's basically about them. Now, it's about them and this curse that they have, and prior to being cursed, it was like this insta love kind of thing. They were instantly attracted to each other.
Yeah.
They wind up running into each other prior to formally meeting. And they're sneaking out of their rooms to go into basically, I forgot what he calls it. It's like a big.
It was like almost like a greenhouse, but more for like birds.
Birds.
I don't know what those are called. I know there's a name for it, but
yeah, there's definitely a name for it, and he mentions it, and I forget it. But they're trying to sneak in and just go in because, it's like a indoor, like woodsy, and like all these exotic birds that they've collected over time. And that's where she meets Brazen. That's where she meets Theodore, aka Teddy, and is it Lachlan?
Lachlan, yeah.
Excuse me. And Teddy and Lachlan are brother and sister, and they're from a different kingdom. There's 3 kingdoms in all. Idalia's family is from the north. Brazen's family is from the south. And then Teddy and Lachlan's are further south, like.
So they're like the more neutral kingdom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in order to go down to that southernmost kingdom, you kind of have to go through Brazen's kingdom, because next to his is actually like the Forbidden Woods. It's enchanted, and you don't really go through there because you don't always make it out alive. So in order for them to like get resources from the southernmost kingdom, they would have to go through Brazen's kingdom. And so that was, the Norse major issue, was that they couldn't get certain resources because of Brazen's family's kingdom and, them being at war and stuff. So they meet prior to, and instantly there's attraction. They're young. I think they're in like their early teens when they first meet. They're really young. And so like they're kind of excited, like, okay, if we're betrothed, at least he's good looking, at least she's good looking, there's some attraction there. Because I guess growing up, they've always heard bad things about each other's kingdom.
Right.
And so they already have like these stereotypes and biases based on that. But now meeting each other, they're like, oh, this isn't really true, And so the curse happens, and now they're instantly enemies. So this is supposed to be like enemies to lovers, but to me it wasn't really enemies to lovers. I don't know if you got the same vibe.
No, because they didn't know anything about each other. So they instantly became friends when they were young. When they met, they instantly became friends, were crushing on each other. And then everything that happens causes them to not like each other. Right.
And rightfully so. They both think, the other kingdom was the cause of this traumatic event that happens. Do we want to say what that is, or do we
why not? So there's spoilers from here on out. So if you haven't read the book, come back later.
Right. So what happens is, during this celebration, Idalia's mother gets poisoned and she dies. And automatically Idalia's father is like, oh, Brazen's father did it. Like, his kingdom is the cause of this. You guys set up this whole betrothal celebration and all of this thing just, to kill my wife, and like cause this big war. And then Brazen's family is like, no, you definitely killed your own wife to set up this war. This wasn't us. And in the midst, that's when, they curse the gods, and then the gods come. And
when you were reading that scene, did you think it was Idalia's family who did it, or Brazen's?
I honestly thought it was Idalia's father.
Same.
Right off the rip. Like,
the way Brazen's family reacted was not somebody or people who would have planned this out. They're like, whoa, what the hell? Like, that, we didn't do this.
I felt like they were really in shock that it happened. So I really feel like there's an underlining story within there, because apparently he loved her.
Right.
She always said like her dad was harsh, like the king was harsh and things like that, but he always loved her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But he's cuckoo.
Yes, he is.
Because on her way home, we don't learn this until like later on in the story.
Yeah.
You know, on their escape out to go back to their kingdom, after the curse, she gets into a carriage and it says that she screams or whatever. And we later on find out she screams because her mom's body is in the carriage, and she had to ride in the carriage with her dead mom all the way back home. And if you know anything about kingdoms, like it's not like, oh, you down the street.
It's
like
days of travel.
And her mom is decomposing next to her. Like, this dude is crazy.
Also, like in the beginning, during like the prologue, you get kind of a little bit of a foreshadowing of that moment. And I remember she was like saying something like, I could hear him talking to me, but he's not really looking at me or actually talking to me. And he's saying things that I don't understand. Like, she couldn't understand anything he was saying. So he's definitely a little bit out there. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. That was weird. That was crazy. When she said that she rode along with her mom decomposing next to her, like she had to sit next to her mom.
Yeah.
And that her father was still talking to her. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, so, you know, years pass and Idalia's older and they've been up in the north this whole time. They haven't been able to travel. She sent letters to Teddy and Lachlan throughout the years, but hasn't spoken to Brazen at all. And she finds out that Lachlan's father passed away, and he was also someone who was kind of like scary and mean to his children. Very high expectations for them, which Lachlan develops like almost like anxiety because of his dad, if you notice. At least that's what I noticed with him. Like his anxiety, his ear pulling, all of that stems from his father being so harsh and so demanding. So his father passes away, and Idalia's father is so excited about it because he was like, you can go marry him, because not only did, you know, the king die, but Lachlan's wife passed away too. So he, you know, he's up for grabs or whatever, you know.
Mind you, it's only been a month since his wife has died, and already Idalia's father's like, all right, go get married. Right away.
So they set up this plan to go through the woods to travel to the south, even though the woods are extremely deadly. Like, it's not, you know, it's not the best way to travel, but they can't go through the other kingdom because obviously they're at war. So she travels through the woods, and sure enough, there's like raiders that found out, or the king, Brazen's father, finds out, right?
Yeah, so his father finds out that she's going to be traveling to this other kingdom. So he hires this group. I forget what they're called.
I forget too. They're like they're like mercenaries, but they're also like Robin Hood. You know? Like, they steal money from the rich to give to the poor, kind of thing. And this group is actually Brazen, who, like any other king who doesn't want to become king, or prince who doesn't want to one day become prince, you know, and, you know, trying to get away from his duties. He's like Robin Hood, out here causing fights, drinking beers with his pals and stuff. And the king actually hires his crew to try and capture her and bring her back to the
Which
kingdom.
Obviously the king doesn't know that his son is part of that crew. At this point, he doesn't know, or we don't know if he doesn't know.
Right. I feel, but he does, right?
I feel like maybe he does, but I guess at this point it doesn't say it.
Right.
Or you don't get that impression of it. I don't think so. Not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning, right?
No.
Okay. So yeah, he hires him and he's like, not knowing it's his son that he's hiring, go get her, bring her to the kingdom, whatever. So he's like, okay. And he does it and he captures her. But did he know right away it was her, or was he just saying that there's someone traveling I want you to get?
I feel like he knew. I feel like I remember something about that he definitely knew it was her.
Okay. So he winds up catching her with his crew, and instantly he remembers, fond memories of her beauty, and he's instantly attracted, but he's like, I can't, she's an enemy and I can't touch her because the curse is that if they do touch each other,
oh yeah, we didn't even mention the curse.
Not only will they die, but their kingdoms will fall too.
Yes.
So they will kill everyone and their kingdoms and themselves. So yeah, I wouldn't be touching you either.
Yep.
So it's very high stakes. So yeah, that was the curse. So of course, Adalia's father has taught her how to fight, and so she tries to fight them off as best as she can, but Brazen and his crew kind of like take over and win her or whatever. But at the same time, the woods are enchanted. They're haunted with magic within them. And there's like this mist that starts happening at the same time that he captured her. And it's killing all the people he brought with him. And so now they have to run deeper into the woods, not really knowing where they're going. And then it's like them in the woods for a few days. And then they meet, was it Nuri?
Nuri, yeah.
So at this point, it's Nuri, it's Adalia, it's Brazen, and then Brazen's crew, who is Torrance, Lynn, and Lorna.
Yeah. At least that's what's left of his crew.
Right, what's left, which are like his best friends anyway, like his inner circle. So those are the people he want. If everybody else passes, it's sad.
At least not his friends, right?
But not his friends. So his main crew is there. And so there's a whole bunch of things that happen within the woods.
It's basically a big quest now to get through these woods. That's pretty much what the whole book is.
And now she doesn't know whether she's going with Brazen to his kingdom or if he's gonna bring her to Lachlan, which is where she needs to go because she needs to marry him to help her kingdom. She's under the impression that, he's taking her to his kingdom to see the king, and she's captured. So I forget when they decide to kind of help her.
It was Nuri. Nuri did some kind of prophecy or something that forced Brazen to change his mind, because it was something like if she didn't marry Lachlan, something about their curse wasn't going to break. It had to do somewhere along those lines. And that's why he finally decided to take her to Lachlan's kingdom. Lachlan, right? Yeah, Lachlan.
Lachlan, yeah. And, there's all that tension between them. There's tons of banter between them. So there's that, like that.
Sexual tension.
Yes. I'm supposed to hate you, but I don't hate you. You're the reason we're in this situation, but are they really that, Brazen thinks her dad killed her mom, and she's under the impression that his family killed her mom, and like her living through that trauma. And now they're in these enchanted woods. This is where things get confusing for me. I don't know if it got confusing for you. So they're in these woods, and they come across these people who've been living in the woods, even though in like this little town that's protected from the elements of the woods, but they're in the woods.
Right.
And in that, they are there's like witches in the town, and each one of them goes into a house and they see something different. We don't know everyone's like what they saw, what they did, right? In Idalia's case, she's transported to the past and she sees these memories of what happened in the past of these people. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that part.
So that part was, okay, so for context, this whole book was fucking confusing for me.
Okay.
The whole fucking book was confusing.
Okay.
Right? But this part that you're talking about, I guess it's when she sees a vision of her mother or somebody in her ancestry.
Right.
And so I guess it's like her family was part of that village. From what I got from that part, was her family was part of like the Dizinas or whatever those witches or whatever were.
Right, the witches. Mm-hmm.
So her family came from them and then met her father, and that's when she left and got married to him and had Idalia. That's what I got from it. So, which in turn tells us that Idalia is part of that ancestry, like part of these witches.
So she has powers that she didn't know she had.
Right.
That part was super confusing to me because I feel like it was years prior, like before her mother. It must be like a great
a grandmother or something. Yeah.
And even within that vision that she saw, that was confusing because you see her grandmother or her great-grandmother, whoever this woman is, she saves a man, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I forget what kingdom he comes from. And she was like, the only thing I want you to do is give me a home.
I remember that.
And he promised her,
in his court. Yeah.
Right. I'll give you a home within my court. Then it forwards, a couple years, and it's another memory. And this time, I believe it's the same king. And now he is married. His wife just had a child. And then I don't know if it's like another king from another kingdom or a knight or something. There's like a love triangle of some sort.
Which I feel like was part of Brazen's family. That's what I feel like. Like it's those two families connected in some way. And that's why there's always so much tension between the two.
Right. Because I feel like there was like a love triangle that happened.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, something broke. And that's the questions that I have because it's not explicitly told.
Right.
And I understand foreshadowing and things like that, but I feel like that was super confusing for me.
It was extremely confusing, yes.
To understand. So she's added in this other element that Idalia has powers. There's something that happened within the past, and then she's brought back. And then there's this whole prophecy that to me doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Trust me, I'm in the same boat.
This is what happens when you love someone so much and they're developing something and you want to love it and like you're just
I really wanted to love it.
I really wanted to love it too.
Did not love it at all.
I was
which I'm so mad about. To be honest, I would give this a 1 star and I would never recommend it to anybody.
It was really
I know that's rough.
Yeah, that from you, that's really rough because I feel like you always give someone the benefit of the doubt.
I do.
And it was really hard to get past some of the things because I feel like there was so much dialogue, so much banter, but no world building behind it.
None.
And then the world building that you didn't get enough of it to understand everything that was happening. And this is I think what needed to be done, like when you self-publish, I don't think you go through an editor. You don't go through all these other channels.
No.
That would have helped her.
If you do, it's something that you're just like doing it on your own. So you're finding your own editor, like people,
Right,
could be people that you know to do this, which is fine. But I just feel like maybe she needed more people or second opinions. Maybe not hiring friends or what. I don't know if she did this. I don't know if she went off and like asked her friends to be beta readers or whatever. But if she did, she shouldn't have. Because they're just going to say, oh yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Because I feel like that there were elements that should have just been left out that didn't need to be put in.
Listen, I wrote down, hold on, useless. Chapter 26, chapter 27, chapter 28, and there was one thing about 29 that was interesting. That's 4 chapters that could have been just erased. There was no information, nothing in it that was part of the story that needed to be. I know. I hate this. I hate being so negative, but I did not like this book at all. The whole like friendship, like her inner circle or his Brazen's inner circle, I felt like it was a good idea. Yeah. And I could see where she got it from because of how much she loves Sarah J. Maas and she's always making videos about that. So I get it. I feel like the banter and everything within them was way too much. It took over the entire story. It took over the plot of the whole book.
You know how like you would get like some dialogue and then you would get a story and then some dialogue and then, you know, a story. And it was just like pages and pages and pages of just talking. And I'm just like,
all right, can we get to the quest?
Yes, get to the quest. Yes.
She needs to get somewhere.
Yeah. And even within the quest, when they get broken up, so eventually Brazen has to leave his crew behind to save Adalia and get further south. He decides that, okay, I'm going to help her get home. Not home, but to Lachlan. I'm going to help her get there because this is where he finds out that potentially she's going to marry him, right?
Yeah.
She mentions it to him.
She does mention it, yeah.
So he was like, okay, I'm going to bring her or whatever. So they just leave the crew. After, like, they start fighting.
They don't just leave. Yeah, they leave them in, like, a crazy situation.
Yeah, you think they're dead because his father winds up bringing an army. They notice where they are. They find them. And so he has to essentially fight his own people to save her, to bring her down south. And during this time, his crew is getting fucked up. So you don't know if they live or die. And then that brings up a whole nother thing when they do show back up. It's just like, where the fuck did you come from?
They're literally there. There's no context. There's no like, oh, what happened? How'd you get here? No, it's like, oh, hey, we're here.
We saved you.
Yes.
Like, what?
So that was another issue I had throughout this story. Every big scene that happened, it always jumped from one to the next. It never went, there was like no in between. Like,
no, it went from 0 to 100.
Yeah. Like there was a point where I think Brazen and Adalia were talking somewhere in the woods by themselves, just having like this moment. And then the next scene, they were in a carriage traveling somewhere. And I was like, but what nothing was like, what came of that conversation? Like nothing happened. And then they just went somewhere else. I was like, oh,
I guess that goes. And I feel like that was a lot of it. Even the spice scene, even that.
That spicy scene. I'm sorry, but that was the cringiest scene I have ever read in my life.
I feel like I was like, oh. Good. I felt like it could have been good.
Too much. It's the banter.
There was no story behind it for you to be like, oh, this is their moment.
Yep.
They were mad at each other.
They were so, I highlighted this fucking quote from it. I hope I could find it. Oh, so they were fighting. They were arguing. And then he says, I will throw these bottles at you, Verdanian. Do not tempt me. And then she says, like, what does she say? Oh, tell me what you would do to me. And then they start like,
right. They're in.
I'm like, what do you mean?
0
Like, you're literally,
to
you just
100.
said you would hit her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would hit her.
Mm-hmm.
Really? And now you're going to do
like,
stuff?
what would you do to my body? Obviously he said he was going to hit you.
Yes, he did. But mind you, they can't touch.
Mm-hmm.
So this entire scene, it's him
telling her what to do, which can be sexy. It can be. But
was it?
No, it wasn't, because within the context of what was happening, it didn't flow.
No, it didn't. But it was just also very awkward. He was like, yeah, that's my hand. You do this with my hand. And she's like, oh, yeah.
And someone made a good point about kind of feeling like it was like a checklist. Oh, I got banter.
Yes.
Oh, I got to fight. Oh, I got a quest. Oh, I got an inner circle. Oh,
that's
I got
funny.
a fight scene. So it was like someone had mentioned it being like she was checking off different tropes or things that she thought a fantasy book needed, instead of it letting it flow and it, I don't know, it being like organic. It was, I felt like it was just, like I said, 0 to 100. It was like, oh, they're fighting.
Right.
Now he's telling her where to put her hands. Like, what?
And that's pretty much kind of like the gist of what my notes were for this book, because it's a fantasy book and we love fantasy. I want it to be super objective because I really like her. So I was just like, maybe it's just me, whatever. No, like I went through my notes and everything and I was super objective. I was like, so fantasy, right? You want the world building.
Yes.
Was there world building?
Not really.
No. They were in a forest the entire time. Then
and I didn't even understand that whole forest.
That part was difficult to understand as well. Maybe that's why we feel like there was no world building. The heroic adventure. So you need a quest, right? So her quest to begin with was her going from her castle to marry Lachlan. All of that got muddled with so many other themes or plots that she added to it. And I feel like it didn't need all of that.
Right.
Like the prophecy, the finding out that she's special or has powers, the whole, his father finding out the whole, like what they were and where she is. Like everything got muddled. And then magic. So we know she has some kind of powers, but that was such a small, like, part of it.
Even her saving his life.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird.
It definitely was. And then the curse. The curse was the most interesting part of it for me, that they couldn't touch. So this entire time, they have to be together and they're forced to work together, but they can't touch. That was the absolute most interesting part. But still, like, it didn't end up anywhere.
I like where it was going. Like, I like the premise of it. I love, like, the idea of it. Just the execution just wasn't there for me.
Agree. I am so happy. I was like, oh my God, Celese is going to love this one. And I'm going to sit here bashing it. And I feel really bad. Good. I'm glad.
No.
I'm so glad.
Jenny. I tried to find like good elements that I like. There were, you know what I said? Some great quotes. There were some quotable moments.
Okay.
And then I said the idea of the spice was nice, but not the spice itself.
It didn't work. Like it would work in a super dark romance.
Yes.
You know, when they're like really elevating it. But it was just awkward the way he was saying, like, put your hand here, but make sure you know it's my hand. And then he says it like over and over, like, oh, that's my hand. Do you remember? Like, it was just so awkward.
And like I said, the potential story, it was there. It had pieces of something great. I think she needed proper editing, proper editors, something. She needed something more.
Can I just read this highlighted quote from that sex scene? Or sex scene.
Yeah.
So he tells her to put 2 fingers in her mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she says, I graze each finger with my tongue as if I think sap falls from them. I use the tip of my middle finger and rub against the hood.
The hood of
I
her
couldn't. That's it. The hood. I couldn't. I was like, what? Why? I couldn't deal with it. Yeah. I didn't like that at all. I wasn't a fan of this book.
I wanted to so bad.
Trust me, so did I. I was super excited. I started reading it at midnight when it came out. And it didn't hit home for me, unfortunately.
It was I had to read it over a course of days.
Oh, I read it in like 3 days. I forced myself to finish because I did not want to finish. And I was like, I have to get through this. I'll get it done. And it was hard, but it was a lot of like skimming over banter, like over and over, like, all right, we get it. You think you're funny. Okay, move on, kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't even go more in depth because I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think
we don't try and come on here and bash anyone's story because at the end of the day, you're doing something I can't do.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there, you're giving it a go, you know?
Right. It's a lot of hard work.
And this is, probably your life work. And I don't want to ever discredit someone, but I also have to be honest with myself and just be like, I just couldn't get behind it. And I'm just wondering, like, can you do like a re-edit? Like, can you take your book back and then just
you definitely could
release it? Because I feel like there's something there. There really is something there that could be
the whole point, the plot, the idea, like you said, it's really, really good. We need more.
Yeah.
Or we need more, but less banter.
Yes, more plot, more like story building, more character development.
More high stakes. Like, although, yes, it was high stakes, it really wasn't because Adalia one moment is like this fighter. She can like get in there and then the next she doesn't know what's going on kind of thing, which I hated.
No.
Like, who are you?
No. How about the fact this poor girl went all the way to Lachlan's kingdom thinking she was gonna marry man. And she shows up and he's like, I'm not marrying nobody. The love of my life died. I'm not gonna marry anyone ever.
Yep.
So her whole quest was for nothing.
Nothing at all.
And then his sister is trying to get into a safe to get this long lost book.
For what?
Thank you.
For what? Like, where did that come from? Why do we need, like, why? All of a sudden, you know how to break the curse? You know that it's in there? Yeah. I'm sorry. I got a little heated off of
it. And then I don't know whether she's a good person or a bad person, which is good because you don't know.
You could almost predict that she's going to end up being bad in the next one. But I won't find out. Your face. I know, I won't find out.
I love her as, a TikTok personality and creator, and like she's super funny. Yeah. And she's really good at skits and coming up with these little things. And I'm just like, I'm shocked. A little shocked. But then it makes sense because she's good at little mini stories. Putting all of them together.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
So then like what I also didn't like was the ending. So she's in prison. She gets captured by Brazen's father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brazen's father, and she's in a dungeon, and all of a sudden, who shows up again? Tor and Lynn, out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how they got there, what happened, but they're there and they save her, and then they go to save Brazen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where it ends, on a cliffhanger. But it was just like, wait, how did you get there? Like, there was no big, like, fight to get to her. Like, she didn't have to do anything. She just walked out of this dungeon, and that was it. I know, it's stressful, isn't it? Because we don't ever come on here and say, oh, no, I didn't like this book. Like, we'll say, you know, things like, oh, it just didn't hit the mark for me. I didn't enjoy it.
Wasn't for me.
But this one, yeah, I know. I honestly thought you were going to like it, and then I wasn't. I had a feeling. I don't know. I had a feeling. I thought you were.
That's why I told you I had a lot of feelings in regards to this book, and I couldn't tell you until we actually sat down and did this. Yeah. Because I wanted to so badly. I wanted to so badly.
I even bought the book. I thought it was going to be on Kindle. No, on ebook.
Yeah,
I thought it should have been on Kindle Unlimited. I wish I didn't buy it, but whatever.
I definitely bought it too.
Well, oh well. It didn't hit the mark for us.
It did not hit the mark. And sorry that, like, we just gave up on talking about it.
Honestly, I don't think you needed more, because the rest of it was just a quest through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it was. So,
and then she made it to the kingdom. She thought she was gonna marry this man. Come to find out, this man doesn't even know what the fuck she's talking about. He's not gonna marry her. She doesn't. She doesn't even know he's not gonna marry her.
Yes, she doesn't know that.
Finds out.
Mm-hmm. But also that her dad sent her there, thinking she's gonna marry this guy, but he never said anything like that. So her dad obviously lied, which could mean that her dad lied about killing his wife.
Mm-hmm. Or was it Brazen's dad that sent the letter to the kingdom under the ruse that it was Lachlan? Was it something like that? I don't.
All I remember is the dad being real sketchy and lying.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to leave it.
That ass wife. Yes. I can't.
Yeah. And that's where I'm going to leave it in my head.
Cheers.
Unfortunately. I should have had another drink. Yeah. Sorry. I feel really bad. All right. I think we're done with this one.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I'm sorry. Are there any books that, like, you had high hopes for? You love the creator, you love the author, and it just didn't hit the mark for you? Leave a comment. Please. Let us know. Let us know what books to avoid sometimes.
If you read this one, let us know what you thought. It's okay if you liked it, but we'd like to know why.
And we're not the type of people who tag authors.
No, we won't do that for this one.
That they don't,
unless it's a great, like, review podcast or whatever, we would, but not a negative one. So we won't
bring Kate to an author. This is strictly just like our opinions. There might be people who absolutely loved it, and that's their opinion. Again, this is we're just two girls.
We're just normal people who read. That's it.
So please do not come for us.
And do not tag her.
Do not tag her. We don't. Please. We love her. Okay?
We do. We really like her. She's super funny.
We had to just be honest. And we would never tag an author if we didn't like their work. So please do not do that. I feel like that's a really shitty thing to do.
Agreed.
And I don't like when I see it. Like, okay, you didn't like the book? Move on.
Move on.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Episode 7, season 2.
Till next time. Bye.
Till next time. Bye.